Okay, by request, time to start a platformer. Note out there is, again, if you want to look up some more off platformers, and we will in later videos, most of my things I get from Sean Spalding. So if you want to look at questions out on the web, he's who you go hunt. There's a couple other good ones that are out there that'll do a platformer for you, but that's who I use. So we start off with making two sprites, one player, one wall. These are just 32 by 32 sprites, and they're centered. So make sure you center your sprites. Also, a couple of objects, object player, object wall, and last but not least, we're going to create a room. So I'm just going to right click, create a room. Inside the room, one thing he talked about was changing the room speed up to 60 frames per second. And then we're going to go to the objects tab. And from the objects tab, we're going to realize that one, I need one player. So I'm just going to dot a player in there. Then I'm going to go down here and change it to object wall. And now if you hold, look down here where it says, if I hold shift plus control, I can add multiple. So I'm going to hold shift plus control, and I'm going to left click, and I'm going to draw in some walls. And first of all, I'm going to draw in a playing area so he can't get outside of it. And then I might just add some simple platforms in here just so I can check it out and see if he can hop around. Some of them might wind up being too big a hop for what I need. I don't know yet. I'll have to look at the default jump and move speed or whatever else, but you'll get the basic idea from what we're doing here. Maybe I'll draw a vertical one or two so we can see him run into a wall one way, shape, form, or another. All right, so that's enough. And again, I'll probably have to go back and switch this, but just start somewhere. Don't spend too much time on your first one until you know about how high the guy's going to jump. And then let's hit check mark. So we've got now a room, and we've got a player and wall in it. So we're just going to go code player. Wall has no code whatsoever. So we're just going to jump into the player's code, and we're going to take a look at the create function first. So the create function, if we'll magnify it for you, create function has a few variables, not too many. So just copy these down. The first one's gravity. The second one stands for horizontal speed. The third one stands for vertical speed. And then this is how far you'll jump in the air. And this is your move speed, how fast you'll go left and right. Obviously, you can tinker with these a little bit once we get started. If you think he's, going too slow, you can jump your 4 up. Or if you want him to jump higher, you can jump this up higher. I use a negative here just because we know that Y movement is negative when you're going upwards. All right, so let's go ahead and look at the step function. And here we go. So you should be used to these, the right, left, and jump instead of space. This time we just called it jump, keyboard check pressed. And then here's some math for you. Move is right minus left, and we use minus because left movement is negative. HSP is move times move speed. That'll just be positive or negative 1. It'll be multiplied by your move speed that you did in the create function. VSP is less than 10. Basically, just capture falling gravity, your falling speed at 10 pixels per frame. And then if you are on the ground, you're allowed to jump. So this says don't add anything to VSP unless, of course, you're on the ground. So this says look for place meanings 1 below. This is what this Y plus 1 is. It says check out 1 below where I'm at right now. And if I place me to wall, then I'm allowed to jump. Okay, and then the other important part is, and I think he did a real nice job with this, is making sure you don't go inside a wall, either left, right, up, or down. I don't want to land inside of a wall. So what he does is he checks ahead. So he says, if my next movement, my next HSP will run into a wall, don't move that 5 or don't move that 4, whatever it happened to be. Instead, only move 1 at a time. And he does the only move 1 at a time by using this little sign function. So sign just takes it, if it's 4, it's positive 1 instead. Or if it's negative 4, it's negative 1 instead. So sign just takes the negative or positive sign of it instead of taking the whole thing. And then he says, if I haven't run into this yet, go ahead and add 1. So your basic concept is saying, while I still haven't met the wall, while I look ahead 1, is there a collision in 1? No. Then add 1. Look ahead another one. Is there a collision in 1? No. Add 1. Look ahead another one. And if there finally is a collision, then set HSP equal to 0. So again, I think he does a wonderful job. It works well. We'll go on with it. And vertical collisions, we just changed them over. Instead of X plus HSP, we do Y plus VSP. And the while place meeting, again, we have to change this to Y plus sine VSP. And again, everything switches over to vertical stuff. Y plus sine VSP and VSP equals 0 and Y plus VS equals VSP. Again, we're just looking ahead 1. And if there is no collision ahead 1, then it's allowed to move 1. And then it works well. And that's probably what we'll call an end today. So if we want to run this, we'll see that, again, Sean does a pretty nice job building this. So we'll just hit check mark. We'll give her a run for a second. And we should be able to see that my guy will fall down, hit the ground, and when I want him to jump, he can jump. If he hits the wall from the left or the right or up or down, he won't go through it. He doesn't do anything like this. And obviously my jumps are a little too high. I have to go back in and either add some to my jump speed or maybe just make my room a little different. But that's good enough for today to get us started. Thanks.